I'm Shag. I'm here with Eric Peer of Atrox Snake Barrier. We're sitting inside of a 10-foot by 10-foot square that's only about 10 inches high.
That's correct.
It looks like some sort of screen material, and you're telling me when these guys release these 4 rattlesnakes...
And the cobra. Don't forget about the cobra.
Apparently I didn't get that memo. But you're telling me we're safe.
We will be safe. In fact, a little bit later, I'll get down there when we have the snakes out. I will get within a foot of them, down on the ground at their level,
Like
just to show you
face to face
how confident I am that this is going to keep.
Have you ever done that before?
Never have.
All right. Oh, you're a crazy man, Eric.
Yeah, he is looking right at me.
Eric, I've forgotten every question I want to ask you right now. Hey, everybody's had an encounter with a snake at some point, either camping or doing whatever. We're inside 10 foot by 10 foot. How do you see your system being used?
You know, I think there's so many applications, from as small as 5 foot squared up to, you know, large areas you want to protect, be it your home, part of your ranch, hunting blind.
So this is scalable.
Anytime you're going into a space that you want to ensure that there's not a snake, if the Atrox barrier is set up properly, it will keep the snakes away from you and your loved ones.
Everybody loves backyard chickens. They can be tons of fun to take care of, and everyone loves farm fresh eggs. But when you have baby birds running around and a lot of eggs available, snakes are going to be attracted to your yard. It's just part of the deal. So what we set up today was the Atrox barrier system with the chickens. Now we're going to pull out Brutus, the giant western diamondback, and see how the fence holds up to him. So what you're seeing there is Brutus has contacted the fence. It is effectively a barrier to him. The reason that the Atrox snake barrier system is so effective is the snake really cannot figure out a way around it. It can't conceptualize what it is bumping into, and it has a choice. It can either go right, it can go left, or it can go up. When it goes up, it contacts a barrier on top of it. If it tries to bend backwards to go over it, it runs into the A-frame. So the snake is effectively trapped in a tiny little space, and he's just simply not smart enough to figure out a way around it. So in the dog days of summer, kids gather around swimming pools to cool off, and they're not the only ones. Snakes love a big, cool body of water to look for food, to get a drink, to cool off.
Ah, snake!
So with the Atrox snake barrier system in place, you're going to prevent snakes from getting into the pool or the pool area where they could threaten your family. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this beautiful water snake down on the ground and let it take a swing at the Atrox barrier system. A lot more aggressive action than we've seen on anything so far, but it's still moving him in that path of least resistance, which is away from your yard, away from the pool, away from your kids and your pets. It couldn't be more ideal. So many times hunters will set up a blind in an area that they'd like to hunt. Well, unfortunately, snakes will use those blinds as place to hide. Well, luckily the Atrox barrier system is completely portable, and it takes about as long to set it up as it would take to set up the blind itself. So we thought we'd take out a big old hefty water moccasin and see how the Atrox barrier system holds up to one of those. So once again, the snake has made contact with the barrier. She's trying to find a way through. She can't figure out exactly whether the barrier is solid or not. It confuses her. She turns and goes a different direction. This is not an animal you want to find in your blind at 5 o'clock in the morning in the dark, because if you put your hand on her, she's going to defend herself, and a bite can be serious. So there's nothing more fun than getting out in the great outdoors, going on a camping trip with your kid. And let's face it, snakes are part of what makes the great outdoors great, but we don't really want them in our campsite. So what we've done is we've set up the Atrox snake barrier system around a basic campsite, and it took us about as long as it takes to set up an average pup tent. What we're going to do now is turn a big 6-foot rat snake loose, and I'm really kind of curious to see how this is going to go, because a rat snake is a tree climber. So he's looking for a hole, he's looking for a way to get past it. And now the fence has done exactly what we hope it will do. It's directed him from this direction to that direction. Now, generally speaking, when they get going in one direction, they keep moving in the path of least resistance. So he's just going to keep right on moving and back out into the wild away from the campsite. And in fact, he's gotten frustrated right now, and he's turning away from the barrier. This huge snake could not figure out a way over it because of the psychological barrier that's created by the A-frame. So it worked perfectly. So we've tried the barrier on a bunch of different species of snake today. If a snake was going to beat the barrier, this is the one that's going to do it. This is our ultimate barrier challenge. When you see one moving across the ground, they're just like greased lightning, and he can't figure it out. He's confused, he's being pushed in the path of least resistance, away from the pool, away from the yard, and back out into the wild.
Yeah, you see this yellow snake here? This is the first time we've ever had a cobra interact with the barrier.
Man, it's quiet, fast.
Yeah, they move
Look at
very
that.
quickly.
How crazy is that? It's almost like he's looking for a way in.
You know, we all see cobras in their defensive position, right? When they're elevated, when they're hooded up.
Yep.
You know, it could be dependent upon the length of the snake, maybe a foot, 2 foot off the ground. But cobras, when they're moving from point A to point B, they're down on the ground just as you see them right now.
I don't know what you can say or show or tell or whatever. This is amazing. Why are you doing the Kickstarter? What's going on with the Kickstarter?
We're going to launch Kickstarter because it's a wonderful community that supports creators, inventors, and as with any product, and especially this product, there is a fair amount of money that needs to go into it so that we can build it at its lowest cost. And the way we can do that is by successfully funding our Kickstarter campaign.
I mean, I can't think of a more real reason to say, help us, help you. Seriously, you help us build this, we can deliver to you to help keeps the snakes away from you.
Absolutely. No matter where you are in the world, if you have a snake problem, we can get you the product.